What's up, everybody? Welcome to another episode of the Real Deal Fishing Podcast. I'm Kevin.
And I'm Mike, and I'm taking over tonight. Just to
You
start
taking
off with,
over?
I'm
Taking
taking over.
over.
Yep,
Mike
it's going to be
might have
different.
his coffee or something.
Yep, actually, I just did. I drank 2 cups just right now. You're absolutely right.
As I'm drinking my coffee.
Yep.
And keep in mind, it's 9 at night when we're recording this, and we're drinking coffee.
Yeah. I just went back to work, so I got 2 days of work underneath my belt here, and I must admit their coffee is as terrible as I remember it.
Really?
So I decided that before the podcast, I definitely had to load up on the coffee from home, so that way I felt like I
Mhm.
was energized for an hour.
There you go. There you go. Yeah, today was my first day back, and I definitely needed my 1 cup on the way to work, but I didn't indulge in multiple cups today. But anyway, we we thank you for coming back to listening to another episode. As always, if you want to support the podcast, go to shoppalmettocats.com. Check out the awesome merch there. We're closing in on a logo for the
Oh
Real Deal
yes,
podcast.
oh yes, I
Mike and
feel
I
we're
just
close.
talked briefly to it, so we'll have some merch. I just want a shirt. That's all I want. But maybe the fans want stickers and hats, and maybe they want all of that stuff. So anyway, be on the lookout. But until then, if you support Palmetto Cats, you support the Real Deal podcast. So check that out. I want to say hello to all of our Boom Squad members. I appreciate you all. The Boom Squad members are on the YouTube side, and they're actually watching this live, and so they can chat and interact with us while we're recording. So if you're interested in joining the Boom Squad, head on over to palmettocats.com and click that join button, and you too can join us here and ask questions during the podcast. All right, Mike, that's my little spiel. You're taking over, man. What are we talking about tonight?
Well, I only promised that I would take over the beginning and get us rolling, but I do have a couple pages of my random thoughts,
Couple
and
pages, y'all.
and I do believe that they all connect together. Now, at first, I always feel like you're asking me what my opinion is or my thought is on this and that. And I have to just throw it out there that I am not monetized on YouTube. I have no idea the pressures and the competitive nature, nor the earning ways of YouTube. So I wanted to touch on it really fast because a lot of our listeners are trying to follow on that path to get themselves monetized on YouTube. So I just wanted to touch on it real briefly.
Sure.
Our last topic that we ended with the last podcast kind of got me thinking in this direction. It encouraged me to watch some different channels, some
Mm.
of them very big. By that I mean they have nearly 300,000 subscribers, and
Whoa.
some of them very small because those channels are hoping to get there.
Mm-hmm.
So I didn't understand something, and I don't understand what is more valuable or how valuable something is. But Kevin has how many subscribers do you have now?
7,500 roughly.
7,500. Okay, I happen to have 367. So, definitely a different perspective. Wanted to tap into his knowledge here briefly. I don't understand what is more valuable to a YouTube channel. Is it likes? Is it views? Is it views versus likes? I mean, what is the actual target to try to help you grow really well
Hmm.
and get over the hump so you can then become monetized?
Well, I think there are two different questions in there, or two different responses. Number one, I think where most YouTubers in general start out with wanting that goal, I think they should instead focus on just building up their library of content,
Okay.
and not focus so much. Not to say you shouldn't focus, but not focus so much on click through rate and thumbnails and all this. And I think you should just make content, and if you can make an awesome thumbnail, that's cool. But do it for fun. Make sure that you actually like doing it. And don't worry so much about getting to the monetization mark. Now, if you do get to the monetization mark, then that's where you are getting a little more serious, and maybe you need to concentrate more on that thumbnail and that good title. Um, and then the magic comes from, or the money, I guess, comes from how many people click on your video. Number one, and that has to do with your title and your thumbnail. But the quality of your content decides on how long they stay. So you can earn a little bit of money by enticing people to click on the video, but they may only watch for 10 seconds because your thumbnail didn't match the content. Let's take fishing shows, for instance. It's outside. So sometimes you can click on a fishing video and it's a lot of wind noise and you can barely hear the person in the video. And so then they click off of it because they don't want to watch it. So, you know, you can earn some money by getting them to click on it, but what you really want to do is concentrate on making the best possible video you can make in your content area. And for us, it's fishing. So I want to make sure that, number one, I'm providing a valuable resource, whether it's entertainment or education. I want to make sure that it's filmed well, and I want to make sure that it's they can hear what I'm trying to say without much distraction, and that will extend the amount of watch time you get, which in turn earns you more money and more subscribers. And so more subscribers comes with that loyalty that, hey, I know that if I'm going to watch Mike's channel, that it's going to be quality every time I click on it.
Okay. Do you feel that the length of your video, do you feel you have a target length? Like, do you try to make most of your videos 6 to 12 minutes? Do you try not to exceed 15 minutes if possible? How do you feel about that?
If you're not monetized, video length doesn't matter much.
Okay.
Actually, the shorter videos, will do fine because people are testing you out. They're testing you out. They're seeing, oh, what's this guy all about, or what's this girl all about? Cool, that was awesome. Little 3-minute video. Once you get monetized, the 8-minute mark is the magic number, because if you make a 7-minute 59-second video, then YouTube won't put mid-roll ads in your video. So you'll only get the ad before the video and the ad at the end if they get there. And if they're watching on a computer, you may get the little card on the screen or whatever. But magically, if you get to that 8-minute magic number, which is mine, that's what I shoot for, is at least 8 minutes. Now, if you don't have 8 minutes of content, don't put fluff in there, because then it goes back on what I just said a minute ago. Make the best video possible. And if you're not providing value, if it's just, for instance, in a fishing video, if it's just a camera looking at a rod for 3 minutes, then they're going to stop watching. And your view duration is going to go down. So yeah, 8 minutes is the magic number. After 8 minutes, YouTube will put commercials in your video for you.
All right. I was wondering about that. I know when we had spoken with Spencer, both of you were gracious, but did mention, hey, watch the commercials, because we can skip through them after so many seconds and go right past them.
You can.
So I have been trying to be extremely loyal to those that I consider to be, my closer friends, and definitely watch all the commercials.
Well, I don't expect anybody to do anything I wouldn't do. And if honestly, even when I watch my own videos, if it says skip, I skip it.
Yeah.
You
well, I'm at work, so
you still make
I
money
can help.
off of that.
I can help you because I'm a captive audience at work anyway.
Well, and what happens is YouTube puts a premium on your video. So the better your video is, the more a company, an advertiser, is going to pay to get their commercial on there. And so then it becomes up to them to make the commercial short enough for exciting enough in that 5 seconds that you'll just want to say, "Ooh, fishing shorts? Hold on a second."
There really have been a few items that I was like, whoa,
Mm-hmm.
you know, do do these people know me that well?
Mm-hmm.
Is
They
this
do.
formula that they've
They do.
concocted good enough to catch me? Because I
It
consider
really is.
myself to be a crafty fish, you
I've seen
know.
Whisker Seeker ads.
Oh my, yeah. Well, I'm
Yeah.
glad I didn't see those, or I'd probably buy something else.
But yeah, I mean, they know you. You hit the nail on the head. The more videos you watch, the longer you linger on a video, the more they recommend it. Like it gets down to the second, man. Like that's why, you know, I didn't like TikTok at first, and I'm still not a fan of it. But you know how you get the trashier videos first, especially if you're a
Mhm.
man. You get the trashier videos first, and if you linger on those videos and TikTok saying, "Ooh, you know, he kind of likes that booty shaking video," so
Yeah.
then the next video when you swipe up is going to be another one and another one. But when those come up, if you just swipe off of them real quick, they don't show you those anymore. And so now my content is boiled down to the stuff that makes me laugh or fishing stuff. There's a lot less fishing stuff, but more like, fails or something like that. Skateboard up tree or something like
That's
that.
that's how I started on YouTube.
Yeah.
You know,
And
those compilations where
YouTube's the
people get
same way.
smashed.
YouTube's the same way, but for a longer attention span.
Fascinating. Do you believe that posting content consistently, like let's say once a week or every Friday morning or Saturday morning, you post a video? Do you think that that sort of consistency helps you?
Mm-hmm. I do.
All right.
Yeah, I think
Because I
if your
haven't posted
fans
anything in like 6 months. So I
if your
totally fell off the wagon.
if your fans know that they can expect, I would aim for this. I would aim for, if I'm only going to post one video a month, then I'm going to post it, you know, on the 15th or the 18th or whatever. If I'm going to post a video every week, then I want to focus on the same day. Okay. But you also have to know when your audience is active. So in the fishing world, most of our audience is active after 5 p.m. after the workday's over.
Hmm.
So I'll try to post my videos after the workday's over. Now, there's also arguments that you need to, not an argument. There's data to suggest that you need to submit your videos or upload your videos when people are on their phones. So most adults are on their phones before the workday, at a lunch period and after the workday. So you either want to post early in the morning, afternoon, right at the lunch hour, or when they're off of work. That in between times, there's data suggests that they won't get as much view time and they'll miss it.
Hmm.
So I always post my videos. I try to vote. I've been doing better at putting mine out at 6:45 on Tuesday nights. For some reason, that's when most of mine do the best.
You know, I've been sitting here on Tuesday nights and I'm like, look at this sly guy. I was like, we're getting ready to do a podcast here in a little bit, and he's premiering a video. And I've been wondering why it is that you've done that. So I'm glad you
Well, I don't
explained.
usually premiere it. Sometimes I think premiering can hurt it, but people seem to like it, so I'll do one
Yeah.
every once in a while. But
Yeah, I didn't
I
catch
do enough
the
live
premiere.
streams. I do enough live streams that my audience gets to interact with me a lot, so I don't
Yeah.
think premieres matter as much.
Yeah, we had talked about that last week, and even had Lauren weigh in on it, whether it was do you lean towards videos or live stream action, and that was the one thing that I felt I didn't convey, was that some people really want that interaction.
Mm-hmm.
And like right now, we have the option for the Boom Squad members to interact with us. Now, my first guess would be that we haven't seen much interaction tonight. Either one, I did something technologically wrong, or two, maybe Big Mike is closing in on that 100-pound catfish that he's looking for, because I know he's out there fishing. So,
Well, there's also another show that's run overtime. So, um,
and I completely missed that show as I was
yeah. So I mean,
taking the
it
dog
is.
out and getting
That's
set
another
up.
thing. That's another thing, and that's something that I actually have been struggling with for the past couple months and I get myself into trouble and I question myself because I listen to podcasts and YouTube videos that have nothing to do with the content that I'm in, which I believe is smart. So a lot of people suggest that you should split up your content, you know, and I've been struggling with that. I love doing production videos, but half
Mhm.
my subscribers are there for production and half of them are there for live streams. And there's a small percentage there for tournaments. So should I split all that up? You know what I'm saying? So that's a start two more channels and just do one particular kind of content on each channel. So that's another thing I'm kind of dealing with right now. The woes of YouTube. We never know.
Wow. Wow. Now, you said that so lovely. The woes of YouTube.
Well,
Well,
and one more thing to add. I don't mean to cut you off, but like we used to post this video of this podcast to my channel, and my channel started to tank because it was a totally different piece of content. And so my views went down on all my videos, the subscriber count went down, and it's just because people were like, "Well, that's not why I signed up for this." You know? So that's got me thinking, we'll do a separate channel just for our podcast.
the when you mentioned that the other day when we were talking, I was like, oh no, we did something and it hurt the channel. So I felt kind of bummed out about that. But like you said, there's so many details to the equation. So
Yeah,
it
you
was
just have
just
to be able to recognize that.
yeah.
And that's where your analytics come in. If you're normally, so my videos average around 1,000 views. If I'm lucky, it'll go over that. Um, but when I was posting the podcast, they went down to like 300 and 400.
Wow.
And I was like, wow, that's a big difference. Either these
Yeah.
videos are terrible or, they're just something's up. So I looked at my analytics and, you know, the view rate had dropped off because they're not, YouTube's confused. The algorithm, it is a machine. So like it suggests your video content in this genre, right? In this one, it's like having the food groups on a table. You wouldn't put the grapes with the steak. People want steak, they're going to go to the meat table. If they want fruit, they're going to go to the fruit table. Well, if you put them both on the same table, then they're confused. They're not sure, well, which, do I just go to here for steak and grapes or are there other fruits? You know what I'm saying? So I put it in terms of food because we both understand that.
Oh, that's madness. Yeah, yeah. I was like, what kind of a lunatic would even think to put grapes by
Yeah, I
steak?
mean, you got your wings and your burgers and your
Yep.
steaks and your chicken and your fish, and then you got a pile of grapes there, and you're like, "What? That doesn't fit." But the grapes are delicious. I love grapes. Natural sugar, especially when you freeze a grape and then you eat one. Tastes like ice cream. But
Really?
it's not
I've never done that.
it's not a steak.
No.
And if I go to see steak and they have grapes there, they have fruit there. Not that I don't like it, but doesn't go together. So that's why I stopped putting our shows up. Now my core audience loves it. The 200, 300 or so that watch everything I do loved it. But so yeah. So that all that goes into it, man. YouTube's a huge game and it can stress you out if you let it.
You use the word woes, and I'm going to play upon that word. Little
Whoa.
transition here. Um, I do not like going to Walmart, and I do not like the people that are in our Walmarts. I don't necessarily like the organization of the store. I
Hmm.
half the time don't find what I want, and I find a whole bunch of stuff that I don't need, but then I end up with that. So I got a phone call the other day from Kelly Bullock, and he mentioned that his Walmart had all sorts of fishing stuff on clearance.
Oh.
And he's such a nice guy. He's just like, "Hey, you need any of these reels?" He's like, "You need any of this stuff?" And I'm like, "No,
Uh-huh.
man. I got problems enough finding my own stuff. I don't need people to find me stuff." But then I was looking at the picture. I was like, "Send me a picture just to show me what's out there." And he's in Kentucky. So I'm thinking that a Walmart in Kentucky may be a little bit more impressive than our Walmart here in Des Moines as far as fishing equipment goes. And oddly, it had pretty much the same stuff.
Mhm.
So I happened to have to go to Walmart the other day to get a windshield wiper for Kristen's vehicle. It was extremely cold over the weekend. We were like -9, -8. Then we went to up to like, 4 degrees as the high that day. So it was wicked
That's
cold.
crazy, man.
So she went out, started her car. She was going to move it so that way we could get the rest of the snow that was around it, and thus the driveway would be much easier to walk on. And the windshield wiper must have been so frozen solid it just snapped right off when the arm moved.
Gosh.
So I had to go back to Walmart to find another windshield wiper.
Meanwhile, it was 80 degrees here in South Carolina.
Yeah, we had an 80-degree difference. Kevin was communicating with me that day. He's like, "Man, I got shorts and a t-shirt on." And
Yep.
I'm like, "Oh man, it's so cold outside. Our eyelashes would freeze together. You would
Huh.
fight to open your eyes. That's how cold it was that day." So it is what it is, I had to do the snow, and I take care of Grandpa's snow for him because he's 94 and he doesn't need to
Mhm.
be out there. It's
Right.
everything is a risk at 94.
Exactly.
There's enough danger inside the house tripping over a rug or something. You don't need to be outside when it's
Uh-huh.
slippery. And so I
Yep.
go to Walmart, and then I think to myself, don't go to the fishing section because Kelly said that stuff is on sale. Now it's not my fault
Uh-huh.
because they put garbage cans full of rods on clearance and put them out in the aisle. I had to go to the automotive stuff, which is directly behind the fishing stuff, and the big garbage can full of rods found me. I wasn't
Oh,
looking for
no.
it, it found me. Now, all this stuff was 50% or more off.
Wow.
So I decided that it may be a good financial decision to get a couple of bait rods that should Lauren or Leia actually break them.
Uh-huh.
I won't be as upset
Right.
because when they're $15 a piece instead of 50, this is a Hank Parker lose special, whatever it's called.
Uh-huh.
I'm like, well, if that's how we're going to be about this, then maybe it is a good idea. And last year, Lauren did step on 3 of my whisker seeker rods,
Mm.
and all the eyelets, those were the catfish and carp ones with the little micro eyelets. So they were all bent. So I had to bend them
Mm.
back into place. Luckily, none of them broke off. So apparently it's a pretty strong rod, but those are $80, $90 rods. And these ones are 15. So I felt I just had to do it.
Yeah. It's a
That
little
way,
easier to at least a
yeah.
little easier to swallow.
Yeah. So I got a couple of those. I got the windshield wiper and got myself a new snow brush that telescopic handle so that way I can be on one
Fancy.
side of the truck but clear the whole truck.
You know what I have that's telescopic? A hot dog cooker.
Oh, like a big fork
Yeah.
that goes over the campfire?
Yeah. And it
Oh,
collapses down so you don't have this giant fork just sticking out everywhere. It collapses down to the size of a tablet.
oh wow.
Yeah.
That's awesome.
Yeah.
This might star in one of your future videos.
Oh, yeah, it is gonna be in the next well, not the next one, but the one after that.
Does it hold more than one hot dog
It
or is
holds
that
2
just
hot
pushing
dogs.
your luck?
It can hold up to 3 if you put them sideways.
Oh yeah. I'd turn them sideways if I could
Turn them
get more.
sideways, you can cook 3 at a time.
Ooh.
Mm.
Now, while we're on the topic of hot dogs, do you prefer a chicken and pork
No.
content or a straight beef wiener?
I don't mind pork hot dogs,
Mm-hmm.
but I don't like the chicken ones.
Yeah, they're
I
different.
like I like the beef. Beef hot dogs are the best. Now I like the beef hot dogs that are like juicy, like thick beef hot dogs. Like when you bite them, they crunch.
Yeah. Okay.
Yeah, I
I
mean,
know what you
ballpark
mean.
franks are fine. They're all right.
Yeah.
But like I like a Nathan's
Yeah. Nathan is a different animal for sure.
or a Nathan's or like a Sam's Club or a Costco beef hot dog.
Yeah. I am just absolutely stuck on these Sam's Club beef kielbasa.
Ooh.
These things, it's their own brand. They are
Uh-huh.
fantastic. And I like to throw those into the low country boil that you taught me
Oh yeah.
years
Yeah.
ago.
That's
Oh,
what goes in there.
that's the good one.
Oh yeah. We get the is it the Hillshire Farm? I can't remember. But they
Yeah.
always got them at Walmart. They're like in the big horseshoe shape.
Yep. Yep.
You know what I
Yeah.
had tonight? I had Roger Wood. You ever had Roger Wood sauce? I think it's a southern thing.
Never heard of that.
But they come in a cardboard box, which is ridiculous because it's it's a vacuum sealed package of 6 links inside a cardboard box. I don't know. It's just marketing. Like you take the cardboard box. When I get them home, I take the amount of the cardboard box and throw the cardboard box away and just throw the packet. Like it's like a package of bacon. But they're linked together, and they're an interesting texture. It's
Hmm.
it's definitely like it's like more of a kielbasa sausage than a sausage,
Yeah.
and it's like I guess so it's like piped, like an actual sausage, like because it's linked together. They pipe
Yep.
it in there and they spin it,
Yep.
but it's called Roger Wood, and they got spicy and then regular. The beef ones are terrible. This the only beef sausage that I can't eat. But man, I sliced those up into coins,
Yep.
threw them in a pan with some bacon grease, sauteed those suckers up. And I put some mushrooms in there and spinach, and put it on a wrap with some Parmesan cheese. Son, low carb wraps too.
I've been
It was
stuck
good.
on mozzarella cheese lately. And it's not even just because I can't kick pizza, because
Mm,
I can't. I can't kick French fries. I can't kick pizza. That's why I'm still
mm.
300 pounder. But other stuff I can probably, well, maybe not potato chips. And I definitely got a coffee problem. But
I'm
anyway, we'll,
telling you
we'll
what you
stop.
need to do is you need to get the fathead dough. You make keto dough, which is you make it with eggs, mozzarella cheese, some cream cheese, and some parmesan, and
Oh,
you mix that all up together, and it's got like 2 net carbs in it.
yeah.
And then you flatten it out. Have Kristen look it up. You flatten it out in a pan, and then you put it in the oven. You cook the crust first, and then you bring it out and you put your toppings on it, and then you cook the toppings. And I guarantee you, I mean, it's a thin crust now, but you won't be able to tell the difference between not carbed crust and uncarbed crust.
Yeah.
Because I'm
I'm
not a fan of.
lactose. I'm pretty
I'm not,
lactose intolerant though, so I wouldn't be able to handle that cream.
but you're talking about nacho cheese.
I can
I
have a
mean,
little bit of
mozzarella
cheese.
cheese. Oh,
I can have a little bit of cheese, but I can't have that cream. That cream
uh,
would sink my ship. You've sunk my battleship. But it sounded good. Now I my sister liked to do the different crusting with cauliflower. And I like
yeah,
cauliflower. So long as you cook it in a bunch of bacon grease, I'll eat cauliflower.
yeah, it's all right. Yeah,
Melt a little.
that's what we did before.
Yeah.
But then she found the fathead dough, and I was like, yeah, I'm never
Yeah.
eating cauliflower again.
Awesome. So it's really that wow, that must be really good then.
Yeah, I mean, you wouldn't be able to. It's like mom's homemade pizza.
Really?
Yeah,
Wow.
you
I'm
can
gonna
make dough out
I'll
of
have to try
eggs
it at
too.
least once.
You can make dough out of eggs too, Mike. You take eggs and just take the yolks out, and then get a good the mousse. You ever done that? Cream of tartar. Put some cream of tartar in there, and then and then blend it until it foams up, and you spread that foam out on a pan, and then you bake it. And
Huh.
it's like the consistency of like a cookie. There's
Oh,
all kinds of cool stuff. Anyway, we're talking about
wow.
fishing, right?
That's awesome. See, now me, I always go to the store and I used to buy these low carb, you could use them for a wrap. And I think they even had some snazzy name like that, like a wrap it or something like that. But I would lay them flat and cook them a little bit in the oven. Then I'd pull them out of there, slap some sauce and a bunch of meat and a little bit of cheese on top of that, and I would make my own low carb pizzas. And the craziest part was that they had some that were specifically like, an Italian little Italian seasoning in there, you could actually do specific for a pizza. But I'm telling you, you could do it with all of them and they were all awesome. But I tore up so many pans, all of our cookie sheets, because they fit perfectly in there, two of them, like a rectangle. So I tore up all of our cookie sheets. So then I kind of stopped doing it because I was tearing up too many pans. I was getting too much expense in the pans. So I'm a mess. But anyway, we'll transition back to fishing because I had an idea.
Uh-huh.
I was binge watching Epic today, Epic
Mm,
Catfish.
okay.
If anyone out there hasn't encountered Epic Catfish, Tim Scott is his name, and Sean is his fishing buddy, and he is Catfish Heroes, and they are a riot. I was going to text Epic and try to put some pressure on him to get back on a live stream or something, but he's in the Midwest, so he's suffering the same frigid cold weather that I am. So he don't want to probably go outside either, and I know both of them are busy at work, but he had an awesome video where he was catching bait, and I never thought to fish like he had fished in this, like it looked like part of a river or a stream, and he was pulling out just gorgeous suckers left and right, probably about the size of your forearm, in your hand. So, some nice, maybe not donkey baits as far as he categorizes, but for any of the rest of us, probably bigger bait than we would think of using.
Mhm.
And I remembered last year that with my cast net, I had caught a couple suckers and I had given them to Trish, my sister, specifically because I knew that they were really good bait. So that way, hopefully, she would catch a fish as opposed to me catching a fish. And then finally, the last one that I caught, Trish wasn't there. It was just Lauren and myself fishing that day. Trish wasn't feeling good. And that sucker head just got smashed. And Lauren caught a real nice channel cat that day. So I
Mhm.
was thinking to myself that since I'm here stuck inside because it's
Mhm.
so cold outside, my eyes want to freeze shut. I really need to put myself together a little bit of plan with the Mexi cat, my cousin,
Mhm.
the Mexi cat, on where we feel we can source the premium baits in the ponds,
Mm.
rivers, and streams that we have around us,
Mhm.
because it's something that I never really thought of. Before I was just carp fishing, and I'm like, "Hey, I make great dough ball and I can buy other nice baits
Mhm.
and I'll go catch 20-pound carp." And I could do it.
Now, what do you think about the dark water baits?
Oh, I gotta have it. Yep, that's the very next thing on
I'm
my list
trying
right
I'm
here.
trying that this spring.
When we go to Kentucky, which shockingly is only what, Kevin, 50 days away?
Don't remind me because I haven't even started on the golden whiskers yet.
Yeah. So there you have it, folks. He has admitted he hasn't started on it yet. Now, I was
It's
hoping
only
that a
been
lot of
4
that,
days since I
yeah,
found the
yeah.
nominations.
And I think that there are so many good nominees in every single category. Lord only knows who's going to win until the voting's done.
Uh-huh.
All of them
There are
are
some early
amazing.
leaders. There are some early leaders, but
Oh, good.
and one of the things that I need to I'm gonna have to pay for a voting subscription for something because I've noticed there's been a little bit of I don't want to say cheating, but like abuse of the system where you see someone with the same name voting with different emails,
Mm-hmm.
or someone's voted like 4 times. Now, Google tells me, it's got like, you know, uh,
Duplicate.
Mike Murillo 1, Mike Murillo 2, Mike Murillo 3. So I just have to delete those. But
Uh-huh.
I just need to go back to where, because you can make it limit to one response, but then people have to sign into Google. It becomes a pain and all of that. But
Yeah.
even after I erased the duplicates,
Mm-hmm.
um, they change daily, and we have almost 400 votes
Oh,
as opposed to
wow.
last year, which was like 175.
Well, that's great. You've more
Yeah.
than doubled it in a year.
Mhm.
I
Yeah, we
I
have
have to say
391.
I have to say, after your nomination show, which at first I was like, oh, maybe Kevin will throw me a link. So I was getting myself ready. I'm just like, maybe I'll have to go in there and talk with
You
them.
said you can't do
And
Sunday nights
well,
or at nights.
yeah. So I felt bad at the end of our conversation there because I always feel like if we're called to do something, then we need to do it. And instantly, I was like, "Well, would it have to be Sunday? Because Sunday may not be the best day for me." And then I'm just like, "Oh man, you said that first. Those are the first things that came out of your mouth." I was like, "So then Kevin will be like, well, he's out, you know." but but anyway, I I actually had been texting quite a bit with Chris,
Mhm,
Catfish Clothing,
mhm.
and it's because I had put in a couple orders, and of course, I am a petite man, and I was very interested in a coat because I have, Carhartt coats,
Uh-huh.
and then I have one coat that work gave me, and honestly, I don't know where one of my Carhartt coats is, and then I have
Uh-oh.
another Carhartt coat that's awesome, it's black, it's got the Iowa Hawkeye logo on it,
Uh-huh.
and I've put on a few pounds. So now that is like the casing of your sausages that you were referencing, me trying to get myself into this coat.
Yeah.
So I need to focus on that in 2022. I need to take off, 20, 30 pounds because I know I can
Mhm,
and I know I should. So there's no excuse. But yeah, the show was so awesome. And then one of our friends had a show start, and it was almost immediately after. And that show was supposed to be about tournament results that of a
mhm,
tournament that they held, a month-long tournament, but yet the first hour of their show, they talked about different nominees in the different categories, and
mhm,
they're showing the voting sheet up there, and I'm like, "Oh my gosh, look at that." I was
mhm.
like,
Yeah,
"This
they were excited.
is so awesome." It just took over another show right
Mhm,
out of the gate. And I'm just like, it is that awesome. And the people who were hosting and co-hosting that show had several nominations, and you could tell the emotional impact that it
mhm,
had on them to be nominated and then to be nominated in so many different categories as well. I mean, you could almost see goosebumps on their skin
mhm,
because this is really, really that big a deal. And last
mhm,
night, Catfish Weekly was talking
mhm,
about what a big deal it is to be nominated, what a great job you've done in creating the award show and cultivating, all these different categories and ideas and all the time that it takes to do that. I was talking to someone on the phone the other day, and they mentioned the same thing too. They're like, "How on earth does he do all that
mhm,
and do it this well?" And all I said was, "That's my buddy. That's what he does, man."
mhm,
It was like he brings it. It was like he brings the
mhm,
quality, and so it was really a great conversation, and it was really, really complimentary, really, really cool.
mhm,
And I myself, I made myself sit down, watch the videos that I hadn't remembered as well as
mhm,
the others, and fill out my whole form right then and there
mhm,
because the show was that cool, and I really liked, Chris's honest feedback and reaction to the nominees and what he had seen and everything. I thought he was
Mm.
hilarious, and I can't believe that you were able to get that much of his time too, because that guy just strikes me as a guy who's always on the go.
Yeah, I don't think he realized it was gonna be that long. Well, neither did I actually.
Yeah.
Yeah, it definitely went on longer, but I think it was still appropriate because there was a lot of just a lot of things to go through. And once I started, I didn't really know how the show was gonna go, to be honest with you. I was like, do I just say the names of the people and say, "Hey, congratulations," and move on? Well, that's boring. So I was like, well, uh let me start off with talking about each nomination. But then I was like, oh man, I've done started something now. I'm gonna have to remember. I'm gonna have to remember all of these moments so I can talk about them. So luckily, as I went through, God was helping me, man. I didn't I remembered all of them, and so I was able and things about the people. And so I guess you know it's a good thing that you know we're such a tight community, I guess you can
Yeah.
say. And I knew of these people that got nominated, most of them, and I knew what they were about, so I could describe them. And so that kind of helped me out with the show. And when I started doing that, the downfall was that it became a 2-hour show.
I've been thinking about that too. And usually, whenever anybody's show really starts rolling, really starts getting going, and let's talk about shows for a little bit because I feel that I can probably miss the beginning 6 to 15 minutes of any show, and all I've missed is most of the shows acknowledging all the people in the chat and saying hi to them. I feel like the the guest is usually held hostage right there to stay quiet and respectful on the screen, but that's also good for me because, like I said, I drink coffee all day long. So I go make a pot. I go make a another cup of coffee or whatever, and
Uh-huh.
and then I come back and I haven't missed too much.
Right.
But that the shows themselves, uh, I already lost what I was thinking because I said coffee and my cup's empty. Oh yeah, yeah, yeah. Once they really start getting going, which sometimes takes them 20 or 40 minutes
Uh-huh.
to really get a good groove going, to
Uh-huh.
really get a good conversation going, to really just start letting the information and the entertainment flow, then you kind of feel like they're trying to tie it all off so that way they can end it an hour. And usually I'm in the chat and I'm like, heck no, keep on going. You finally
Mhm.
got rolling here. It's like, yeah, we're 48 minutes in, but don't start slowing it down now. This is awesome. And just to throw out an example, it always seemed to me like I can't get enough of Patriot James's show. It's like, "Don't turn it off now, man." I was like, "We're rolling. Let's get this
Uh-huh.
going." And so sometimes when those shows do go over an hour, it's really that last 15, 20 minutes that they've spilled over that I just think is absolute gold.
Mhm.
And I don't know, maybe, I always liked longer songs like, the Pink Floyd Animals album,
Hmm.
like, all the songs are, like, 15
Pink
minutes
Floyd,
long.
huh?
Yeah, they're like 15 minutes long, 20
Yeah.
minutes long, 25 minutes long, I don't care, I'll listen to the whole thing, and maybe lots of people aren't like that, and my mom always played the Beatles
Uh-huh.
and classical music when I remember growing up, when I remember being little. So
Huh.
we would listen to the whole symphony. So to me, if you go longer, I'm in. I'm all for it. I still think the greatest thing that I've ever seen on YouTube. Well, there's some wind. Did you hear that?
No.
No, something just blew across the front deck
Huh.
of the house. Probably a piece of the house. But So yeah, the coolest thing that I think I ever saw on YouTube is when you went live for over 24 hours. And I literally only slept like maybe 2, 3 hours that night because I just had to watch it. I was just
Yeah, I
sucked
probably got
in.
some people in trouble over that one.
Yeah.
But that was, that's one of those, innovative things that, are harder and harder to come by, and that's why I struggle with staying the status quo. For
Yep.
those of you listening to the podcast, I used to have a Sunday night show, and I didn't really stop it. I didn't really announce that I was stopping it. I just kind of stopped it. I just kind of stopped doing it, and so now I'll go live like on a Saturday or a Sunday night. Whenever I kind of feel like it, and I think or whenever I think it's necessary. How about that? Not when I feel like it. But I think that creates a sense of intrigue, or like, ooh, it must be something important, and it
Mhm.
keeps me from burning out trying to have to come up with a guest or a topic or some fun thing every single weekend,
Yeah.
and hold down a full-time job. Now, if YouTube was my full-time job, oh man, I can't. The ideas would just be cranking out. I'd probably go. Honestly, Mike, I'd go live every day if
Yeah.
I felt like I had the monetary support, whether it's from YouTube or the subscribers. I would go live every day,
Absolutely.
whether it's rigging up rods, or real maintenance, or cleaning the boat, or you know, the other day after I got home from my camping trip last week, I changed the oil, did the 100-hour service on it. You know, Stuff like that. I think people that are immobile, or people that just need something good to listen to during the workday because they don't necessarily like music, or they don't like the music of today, or they don't want to watch news, or I believe that there's a market for that.
And there's a lot of what you just mentioned out there.
Uh-huh.
And
Uh-huh.
I'm not about music today, and I stopped
Mhm.
watching the news, like, when I turned 20.
Yeah.
I'm like, "Forget it, it's so negative, I don't wanna
Yeah.
know all the bad stuff that's going on out in the
Uh-huh.
world," you know?
So I believe there's that market out there, but mama's got to eat.
Yeah,
The
yeah, I
mortgage
like
has to be
bacon.
paid. Yeah.
I like
Yeah.
bacon.
Yeah.
I
So
was talking with Lauren today about that. I said, "Lauren," she's like, "I don't want to do this, I want to do that," and I'm like, "I get it, Lauren."
yeah.
I was like, "I don't wanna work every day."
Yeah, I
I was
get
like,
it.
"I just had a week and a half off, and all that told me was I need more days off."
Uh-huh.
I wish that I was like, "I guess I should play the lotto, and if we could win the lotto, then maybe I could fish every day." And she's like, "You would fish every day?" I was like, "Yep,
Every
when you
day.
were at school." Oh, I shouldn't have said that. Oh, I shouldn't have said that. It was so bad. And,
No,
she was
I told, I took a coworker out to work, or from work, out fishing on, Friday, and, we didn't catch anything, unfortunately. But, we're out there talking, we started talking about retirement because he's in his 40s, I just turned 40, and we don't have much longer to go in education. I can retire at 51. And he's like, "Yeah, I'm probably gonna have to wait till 65 because I don't have my years in." And I said, "Man, I couldn't imagine having to wait till 65." So I'm gonna retire at 51 where I can get my benefits, and then, if everything goes right, and then I'm gonna do YouTube full time. You
heck
know,
yeah.
YouTube full time. A lot of people. My dad's retiring in like 3 months, and he's talking like, "Yeah, I'm not sure what I'm gonna do." I was like, "You go fishing." He's like, "Yeah, that's gonna get tight. It's gonna get hard for me. Getting older." And I said, "I get it." He said, "I might go work at such and such." I was like, "What? You're gonna retire and then go to work?" He's like, "Yeah, but I won't have to do it. I just, you know, I want to do it." I was like, "Okay, whatever you say."
Yeah,
Until they put that schedule on you, then you're not gonna want to do it. But which I'm really excited about him retiring, because that means whenever I can go fishing, he can go fishing. So that'll be fun.
absolutely.
But
It's very exciting.
Yeah, I'm really excited about it. But I'm gonna retire and I'm gonna do YouTube full time. If I'm, and that's 11 years away. I've only been doing YouTube for a little over 2 years. Can you imagine how much it could be grown by then? Or if YouTube may not even be around in 11 years. Not 11. Yeah, it is 11 years. Yeah.
Well, I would have to think YouTube probably still would be, or maybe
Mhm.
maybe you would go live on Twitch or something different, just depending on how the money works or whatever,
Mhm.
but YouTube's been around for a while and
And
it is powerful, and you can tell so many different people, so many different organizations, so many different
uh,
companies that they have a YouTube page and they utilize it consistently.
uh,
And then look at the rest of us who are just looking for some peace and solace from our daily lives, and we have
uh,
found it here. It's
yeah.
the craziest thing. It is so crazy. I had a conversation with my aunt Tone the other day, just asking, "Hey, I was like, this is like a really big deal for me, and I really enjoy this and everything." She's like, "I know you're leaving the state. You're going to Kansas City for the CatCon." I'm like, "Yeah."
Man who never travels.
I was like, "I'm gonna meet my friends," and I asked Tone, I was like, do have we ever had like friends that weren't family fishing? And I think I might have talked to before, but we really haven't.
Yeah.
A couple here and there, a couple join us here or there,
Uh,
for short amount of times. So I'm
right.
just like, man, I guess I just didn't focus on that either because there's always so many Murillos that can go fishing. I didn't really even need to look for anybody else to go fishing.
Yeah,
But
true.
now that I found you all, that opens up the conversation, and Kristen said it even a year ago. She's like, "Would you ever go fish in South Carolina?" I'm like, "Oh yeah, I will."
Uh-huh.
And I was thinking about this the other day as I'm trying to find that pond that I can't remember where it is, but it's supposed to be within minutes of my house.
The bait pond?
And yeah, the bait pond. And Trish called me out on that too. I'm like, "Hey Trish, we were wondering if maybe you would, take some of your creative time here and think about, how our logo maybe should look, or maybe you could help us with that." And she's like, "I'm not helping you with nothing until you tell me where this pond is." And I'm like, "What pond?" And she's like, "Don't say what pond. You mentioned it in the podcast." And I'm like, "Oh, now I remember." And it's just that I have a bad memory. I'm not trying to keep it from her.
Uh-huh.
And we actually think the pond may be closer to her house than my house. So I need to find this
Hmm.
pond because it
Hmm.
it will definitely be a place that we could meet in the middle. So
Maybe
that's
Trish
awesome.
is maybe Trish is playing possum with you. Like she knows where it is, but she's making it out like she doesn't, so she can lead you elsewhere.
Maybe she'll lead me to
Uh.
a different pond. You're right. So I thought about going to that pond the other day because I was thinking, hey, I got to figure out how to source bait. I need a plan where I can check things out, and I would love to run into some suckers.
Uh-huh.
That would be great. I love that bait. And then that's the next thing that I wrote down was the Dark Water is the name of the company. Did you say
Yeah,
Dark Water? That is the only.
dark water
Oh Lord,
baits.
forgive me, Lord. I'm going to say it. That's the only thing that I'm really looking to bring home from Kentucky.
Yeah,
But
right.
it won't probably be the only thing that I bring home from Kentucky.
I started making a list.
Yeah.
So number one on the list is some planer board clips. I can get them online right now, but why not wait till I get there? Planer board clips. I want some dark water baits. I want some three-way swivels. I want to be able to look at them because I can't ever judge the size with the different brands.
Uh huh.
I probably want some demon dragons. Um, if not demon dragons, a whole bunch of floats. Um, and then I want another reel, but I want one that I've never tried before.
Okay.
And I keep going through this in my head. This is the struggle I have in my head. It's like I want to try another reel,
Uh-huh.
But PC funds are so good and so inexpensive that I just get another one of those, you know. But I want to try like a Pen Fathom or a Pen Squall or a Pen something. You know, I've tried an Akuma something. Definitely got plenty of Abus. Can't those are way too overpriced. I'd like an Abu 7,000, but not enough to pay $180 for one.
Why would you want the
I just want
larger
to try
line
it.
capacity? Is there a
Just want to try it.
specific, like, would you drag a bait further behind you in the
No,
river, or
no, because with those 6500s, I can do it plenty far enough.
okay, okay.
I don't know why. I honestly don't know, and maybe it's because they fish deeper water than I do. Maybe they need more line because when I'm dragging baits in the deepest, it's 45 foot.
Okay.
So that's it. So some people may be dragging an 80 foot. So maybe they need more line capacity, but I don't think I do. Jimmy from Fishing and Gear uses the Abu 7000s,
Mhm.
and I don't even think he fills those up all the way. Definitely want to look into some braids up there, some different braids. Um, I I broke Reaction Tackle 80-pound braid trying to pop off a leader twice.
Whoa.
So I don't know, man. I don't know about that stuff. And I got my breaker bar and I wrapped it around
Yeah.
and I pulled on it. And my leader, so 80-pound braid, and the leader is 60 pound. Should break it the leader every time.
Yep.
Pulled it, popped the braid. I was like, what?
Do
I
you
said
feel
something.
do you feel that
Something must be up
your
with it.
braid may have had the chance to contact some rocks or something? I
Could
mean, a
be,
little
but it
nick?
could be. But then it happened twice on the same line.
Yeah.
So it was the blue camo stuff. So now I haven't had any others do that, just the blue camo.
Mm.
So I'm wondering if, it's because it's not their H strand. I don't know. I mean, it defied physics.
Yeah.
80 pounds is heavier than 60 pounds. It should
Have you
break it.
ever tried a reel that has a line counter on it?
I haven't. And
Is
that's
that of
something
any
that,
interest to you?
I don't know.
Is it just like another piece of data, unnecessary, but maybe it might be interesting once in a while?
I think it could be. It could keep things. It would eliminate some variables.
Mm.
So, like, why did this fish bite this reel? Why did this fish bite this bait? It's the same bait as that bait. I had them out at the same distance, I think.
Mm.
So it would eliminate that variable. But otherwise, I think they're clunky looking
Yeah.
and it's just more stuff. But I don't know. I've only been catfishing seriously for 2 years, so I'm not judging those at
Yeah.
all. But yeah, I think like a pin. Catfish Bill has a pin, and it felt pretty good. But man, those PC fun. The more I use those PC funds, man, the more I love them. So I bought a new PC Fun 50 for that Whisker Seeker rod that I got,
Mhm.
and that combination is just so slick and silky and smooth. Like it's just like
Yeah.
ooh, ooh.
I I was counting up my rods as I was cleaning them on my week off,
Uh-huh.
and, I think prior to this last year, I'm pretty certain that I only owned 2 Whisker Seeker rods,
Mhm.
and when I was counting them up when I was cleaning them up the other day, I stopped counting when I hit, like, 15 or 16.
Mhm.
Now, of course, these are all different lengths and different models, and I did include the little whisker sticks, since they are rods.
Yeah.
We will use them, and we will dock fish with them, and we will bait fish with them, and the girls are really excited, and I really thought that it was going to be more like a Doc Demon quality, but it
Mhm.
is not. It is every bit the quality that you see in the rod that you have, and
I'm
it's a little dwarf rod, and it's so cute, but you can feel the power in it. I'm like, oh my gosh, you are a strong little sucker. So
well,
I'm
I'm willing to
excited to
make
try
a
that.
statement right now to all the listeners. I think I've chosen the rods that I really love. For anchoring rods, I want my Blue Cat rods. I like the other Muddy River rods, don't get me wrong,
Hmm.
but there's something about the Blue Cat rod. The foam handle, they're stiff enough to suspend big weights. I can chunk a giant bait and weight out there, and I'm not worried about that thing like cracking or breaking or nothing. And then the Whisker Seeker for dragon baits. Now, I really do like the Big Cat Fever medium rod, but I believe it's got a little too much flex for me, and it feels good, but not as good as the Whisker Seeker.
Hmm.
So I think maybe I might be making some changes here.
Yeah, selling some rods and getting some
Selling
different
some
ones.
rods. Yep. Yep. So,
Yeah.
but then, the PC Fun reels and the Abu reels are obviously my favorites.
Yeah.
Um, I was looking at, and I made myself use a Slime Cat in this last video, and I made myself use my Mad Cat's rod because I'm like, I bought them, I need to use them,
Yep.
but there's a reason why I don't take them out all the time because they're not my favorites. Blue Cat rod is always on the boat, and that Whisker Seeker's been on the boat ever since I bought it. So I looked at the reels, and it's either the PC Fun 50, the PC Fun 60, or one of my Abu reels. And I got two from you, the two reds, and I got the striper special, the carp special, and
Yep.
the catfish special. So I think I've decided there too.
So you're narrowing down. Yep.
I am, and I think there's not much more to try out, honestly. I mean, if a new
Yeah.
rod comes out in the future, you know, and somebody wants to send it to me to try, I'll try one out. I'll try. I'm not gonna just say no. I'm always using these rods. Um, which I've made that mistake and said I was going to do that before, and I realized through friends and then contemplative review that I like trying the other ones out. But
Yeah.
man, once you feel the rod you like, or the rod you like, in my case, you don't want to do anything else, and you find yourself going back and grabbing those same rods every time. Not the only ones that I'll miss, and I may not get rid of them, are my Big Cat Fever rods. Not the Hellcats, the actual Big Cat Fever,
Yeah.
because I can do without the Hellcats. I'm not as impressed with those. They don't feel as good. But that Big Cat Fever medium heavy that I put both the reds on, that's probably one of my favorite rods right there. It's just a good
Yep.
rod.
I was wiping down my Big Cat Fever medium heavy spinning rod the other day, and I still think that it has the eyelets on it that I don't usually gravitate towards.
Mm-hmm.
But I was comparing it next to the Whisker Seeker, and then we had a conversation about how the eyelets are bigger, and these eyelets are smaller,
Uh-huh.
and it was interesting. And also too, the placement of the eyelets is different. And it all starts right at the bottom, the biggest one. That Big Cat Fever, that is moved up
Mhm.
towards the rod tip a couple extra inches. And I just really like how that balances. And it's a gigantic eyelet. So
Uh-huh.
it certainly I believe increases potential casting distance, because I was throwing I think I had a 2-ounce lead on it, and I got to tell you, my shoulders just they're still not feeling well at all. They are not feeling well at all. I could throw a 2-ounce lead with that thing easily 70 yards, and I wasn't
Mhm.
even trying. I'm like, wow. I was like, I bet if I put a 4 on here, I could throw it to the other side of this channel. Try the other ledge on the other side. So,
Speaking of leads, I don't know if you noticed the background. And for those of you listening, I have a picture of some weights that a subscriber sent to me. No. Anyway, they're painted green, neon green and white. And he said if you put them under black light, they glow, and they are magnificent. Now I don't fish with black lights, but I mean they're gorgeous. But my friend Fracture Fix from YouTube
Really?
contacted me and he said, "Hey man, I'm doing some different things with weights and I don't need these anymore, and I'm painting a bunch of them. Do you want some?" I was like, "Heck yeah, you can always use lead." So he sent me this whole box of 3 to 8 ounce sinkers.
That's
So I just
awesome.
want to give a shout out to John Fracture Fix and say thank you for those. And I appreciate gifts like that because it's practical and definitely will be able to use them.
I like that, and I believe it's
Bank
called
sinker.
bank sinker.
Mhm.
Really like that mold.
Mhm.
I said it in a chat the other day that I had changed
I'll have to
my
send you a few.
I had changed. Oh, I'll see you in a month. I had changed my favorite shape of sinker each of the last 4 years. But that one right there, I only lost maybe 2 of them this year.
Yeah.
And the last couple years, I probably snagged up and lost 100 sinkers each of the last 2
Oh yeah.
years. And this, for whatever reason, only lost 2.
Hmm.
So I'm a fan. I'm a big fan.
They're beefy for sure.
Yep.
All right. Well, Mike, it's been an awesome conversation. I hate to cut it short, but we both got to work in the morning, and I'm sure our fans are like, "All right, guys, let's wrap it up." There, they're giving us
Yeah,
the
tie it
green.
off.
They're giving us the light there.
Yeah.
I just want to thank everybody that listens to our podcast. Be looking out for a YouTube channel called The Real Deal Podcast because we might put these videos up on that channel if we're so motivated. So be on the lookout. It may not be all of them, but definitely the newer ones will get up there. Check that out if you're interested in seeing how the podcast goes. I mean, we're not as pretty as we sound, but
Oh, we are.
we're good looking guys.
Yeah, we are.
But anyway, I'm going to pray and we're going to get out of here. Heavenly Father, we thank you again for an awesome show. We thank you for providing the content for us, Lord. We thank you for blessing the show and blessing those who listen to it. We thank you and give you all the praise, honor, and glory for all things. It's in your name we pray. Amen.
Amen.
All right, everybody. Well, until next time, happy fishing.